Hey everybody, Cody Menz here. Less Levi, he went to bed already. I have another What's New video for you, and just going over some stuff that's happened in between my last video last week and this week. Who knows if they're going to come out with more news before the weekend here. Essentially, not too much to go over, but a little bit of important things to note, coming up here. Starting with this, so all these links you can find in my video description, order that you see them. Starting out with stuff that's on worldoftanks.com, .eu, etc., and then some stuff from rykozet.info. More or less though, something I'm really excited for in the next patch, which will be hitting our servers. So anywhere, depending on the servers you're on, from the 19th, so next Monday, to the 21st, next Wednesday. NA server is slated for the 20th, I believe. I don't know if it's basically early 20th or late 20th. I haven't looked too much into it, but basically next week we're getting the patch. Something I'm extremely excited for is the dog tags. I've went over this in a video before. Some pretty cool things. If you don't like these, before you type a complaint and comments like, oh my god, screw you wargaming, there's a little button you can click and you don't see them at all, so no room to complain. For everybody else that will be using them and does not like to complain about little things that doesn't have any bearing on the game at all, more or less there's progressive dog tags where you're able to basically level them up, show off some of your stats and other basically cool things, specifically like maximum damage cause, WTR rating. I hope they transition more to this. Please, wargaming, add this more into the game. And more or less, just some, cool little things when it comes to dog tags. Something that I'm specifically looking towards is ace tanker badges. From my understanding how they work, coming from, Wargaming NA, they were asked this, once you earn your first ace, essentially after the patch, it unlocks this. However, it's retroactive to the beginning of your account. So say in my case, I have like 256 individually ace tanks. It'll actually show you the total amount of aces you have on all of your tanks. So I could have like 500, 700, who knows. That's something I've been pretty interested to see. And, I'm kind of happy they're adding something in, like this. In any event though, if you don't like them, click the button, you'll never see them, and pretend like they don't exist. Moving on now, so one important thing with the next patch, so 1.10.1, equipment, they are going to be demounting all of the equipment that has the little up arrow next to all your mid-tier tanks going up to tier 7. And, if it doesn't match, it could demount it and you're going to have to put different equipment on. So people ask for this. I honestly would have liked to just have all the equipment transfer over to the new stuff, even though technically the reason why they're doing it is the equipment you have on there now costs like 500, 600,000 credits to buy, and they're demounting it for free for you because the equipment that you can put on there is worth like 100 or 200,000 credits. So it is to save you credits, but at the same time, for lazy people like me who have a ton of tanks, I don't feel like putting new equipment on my tanks and all that equipment that gets demounted, but it does make sense credit wise. Just FYI, it's going to demount a lot of equipment for you. And one important thing is once it's released, you can't receive the 30 free demounting kits if you haven't logged in yet since the update, and also these credit bundles that are in the shop. If you want the demount kits, buy these. However, if you played a lot of the Waffentrager event, then most likely you have a bunch of these because the Footlockers trolled the hell out of you and gave you a bunch of demounting kits instead of gold tanks premium time. But these things will be going away come to patch next week. So if you want them, basically for credits, because you're not going to be able to get them anymore. Otherwise, so moving back onto things, LEFH 18B2 is for sale on the NA server. Screw you wargaming. Moving on to the events coming up, kind of event fatigue if you ask me right now. Like we just did the Waffentrager event, now we have Steel Hunter. Oh, guess what, now you have update 1.10 coming next week. Most likely you're gonna be having the Halloween event either starting, if I had to take a guess, the 23rd of October, so next Friday, possibly the 26th of October, so not this upcoming Monday, but the following. I think it will happen on one of those. You know, with that, they gave like a little bit of a teaser here. Uh-oh. If it actually wants to. It doesn't want to do it. There we go. Essentially, though, there were some leaks last year about the Halloween event. Basically, it's like a new map. It's like set in hell. It's a pretty expansive map. And if they're using what was supposed to come out last year, it looks like essentially a mashup of the original Leviathan mode combining with the Dark Runners mode that we got 2 years ago. So 3 years and then 2 years ago, the Halloween events kind of put together. So it's almost like a boss mode, but also you're kind of killing bots and stuff. Maybe like the Waffentrager. Who knows? It should be pretty interesting though. And, you know, I'm sure that they're going to do some special stuff for it, just like the Waffentrager mode. But, you know, we'll have to wait until news comes out. Unfortunately, so ranked battles are also going to be running during the Halloween event from the looks of it here. No exact dates, but yay if you actually want to play both of these events at the same time, because now you're going to have to tackle ranked battles and the Halloween mode. Yay. And then, you know, rip people who haven't completed the battle pass and you're on 39 here and you haven't hit 45 yet. Yeah, fun times. But in any event, so many specials events, and then right after these things, honestly, ranked battles is going to butt right back up to Steel Hunter, most likely the last stage. So lots of stuff here, lots of special events. And, you know, I'm feeling a little burned out. Like, it almost feels like I can't play standard battles anymore, which, you know, is what it is. But it does shake things up a bit. But be nice to have like a little reprieve. We'll get into that, you know, at the very end of this video though, and I want your guys' feedback. Alright, so hopping over to Raikozet here. Again, all these links are in the video description. Next, October Prime Gaming is going to be another The Boys theme things. This time, Maeve is going to be featured, not Starlight. You'll get some rentals, also, you know, 2D style, and a commander. This is coming the next patch, most likely tied to the Halloween mode, basically Day of the Dead. Camouflage looks pretty sweet in my opinion, and it actually changes depending on, you know, the basically setting. So this is the release date for 1.10, you know, roughly speaking, so the 19th, 20th, 21st. And, you know, they stagger them. They seem to be releasing on Asia and NA first to test to make sure nothing blows up, and we're sacrificial lambs. I see it as we get the stuff earlier, because usually there's not too many problems. Also, Supertest time, Italian heavies, we talked about these last week. So basically this is the tier 9 here, the Progetto 66. Stat-wise, these tanks, if you take a peek at them, essentially what we're getting is really mobile heavy tanks. I relate them almost to, you're taking almost like the British heavies, like the Super Conqueror, Carnarvon, and kind of mashing them together almost with the American like T-32 like heavies, and you know, then you're giving them auto reloaders and you're making them faster. It sounds terrifying. Who knows how they're going to come out, you know, balance wise. Like they have good gun depression, their guns hit pretty hard. DPM's a little bit low, but we'll get into more details here because I don't want to focus too much. It's, you know, Supertest stuff. This is the tier 10 here though. When it comes to this tank, you know, this is where we're talking about the balance wise. So how they're balancing these things is they have really good gun depression. And this one actually got nerfed on Supertest already. Really good gun depression, really good armor scheme when it comes to like the hull and the turret when it comes to like hull down. However, they're kind of trying to balance them off of, let's give this thing pretty good gun, you know, auto reloader, kind of like the Italian mediums already, but heavy version. Really good gun depression, good hold down potential with the armor scheme. You're also going to make these things fast in a straight line and stuff. View range is okay. Shell velocity is freaking amazing, especially the HE shell velocity for a heavy tank. And, you know, overall, like the accuracy isn't bad, like 0.32. Penetration is actually pretty freaking good for a heavy. You know, damage is also good. So what sucks about it? Basically, they're going to give them low DPM. The whatchamajig, like the turning the hole and stuff isn't the best, but you're going to be going pretty well in a straight line. And also your on the move accuracy is pretty bad. So balance wise, they're not going to be like perfect, you know, by any means. It's almost like a different take on the, like more so the Super Conqueror, you know, when you have, but it's going to be faster than the Super Conqueror, just less on the move accuracy, and, you know, DPM is going to be low. But it's going to be interesting to see balance wise, because, you know, it's almost like, to me, like taking the T95 Chieftain and, you know, it is not all around good like that. It does have those negative attributes that I mentioned, but it's taking the thing that people hate about fighting that thing, and the same with fighting the Super Conqueror, where these things, and this more so than a Super Conqueror, it's going to be able to get to somewhere quick, hold down, and it has this, you know, auto reloader with 3 shots, albeit low DPM, especially if you shoot multiple shots. And you're not going to be able to do too much about it directly. Like if you're sitting there, good luck freaking penetrating the thing, hold down. Good luck beating it to that spot. You're going to have to hope like you're arty, you know, something with HE, you know, basically like a FE4005 with Hesh, or, you know, possibly trying to flank it, because their armor doesn't hold up if you're able to get around its position. But it's going to be an annoying tank to fight. So I don't think it's going to be necessarily broken, but the way that they're balancing them is definitely going to be like another strong hold down tank, like Super Conqueror, T95 Chieftain, possibly Kronwagen, where it's going to be interesting. We'll see. You know, they're still balancing them. They're on Supertest. We're most likely going to see them by the end of the year. This is the premium version, where it does look at least like the tier 8. Not that we've seen the tech tree tier 8 unless I'm mistaken, but I'm pretty sure this is the premium one, where at least they have 0.4 accuracy, which isn't very good. Whoops, I did not want to click on that. We're just going to pretend like I didn't do that. We're going to move on. And this is like another little thing here for the tier 10 as well. All these links you can find in my video description though. And yeah, you know, we'll see how they kind of shake out. The last thing last thing I wanted to cover though is just really quick about, like, when it comes to special events, and like I talked this about on my live stream a lot tonight, you know, event fatigue. Like, how many of you guys are kind of feeling like a little event fatigued, where, you know, the Waffentrager event, Steel Hunter here, we have Halloween, we have Rank Battle, Steel Hunter again. It's a lot, you know, to keep up with, where I feel like, you know, Wargaming, like the Expedition, it was interesting, it was new this year. I feel like they should go like a different way, which, you know, from their standpoint, what they do with their special events, like Ranked with the Concept 1B, you know, Expedition here with the 3 tanks here, you know, when it comes to Homefront winning like the IS-2, what is it? IS-2 Shield It. You also have like the T-77 from the Waffentrager event, albeit locked behind loot boxes, so a little bit different. I feel like Wargaming would be like a little bit better if they did their special game mode, say like Steel Hunter, but instead of your main reward, you know, being like tokens and stuff to get, you know, these specific tanks, and you only can get these tanks if you play Expedition and Frontline and Steel Hunter, why not make it where the main reward is primarily bonds? Kind of like what they did for the Waffentrager event for like the main progression. You got 3,000 bonds at the end. And instead of like locking the Char Future or the 777 behind that, why not just basically plop them into the bond shop? And then awesome, like there's new tanks in the bond shop. If you play, you know, the Waffentrager mode for like however many days during the 2-week event, and you unlock those 3,000 bonds, you're working towards that. I feel like it achieves the same thing, but it's a little bit less, I guess, stressful playing the game when You don't have to say play Steel Hunter when you don't want to, because you don't feel like you're losing out on something. You can just wait for the next special event. I know it doesn't always benefit wargaming because, you know, they want people to play every special event, put time, money, effort, everything into it. But it's just my 2 cents. Not that I think they'll listen to little of me, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Have a good one. See ya.